So one of my early stops in the diocese as have been visiting our churches was Trinity Church in Yazoo City. And I did not know all of the history around Trinity Church. I try to look at history and get some kind of context for communities before I set out and go visit. But I really did not know all of the story of Trinity Church. And it has been one of the most inspiring stories that I have heard since I've been in this diocese. Because it is a story of resilience. And it is also a story to me about how God is committed to us being in our communities and continuing to minister in our communities in all kinds of ways. As you hear the folks from Trinity telling our story of Trinity Church, you'll hear about a church that has been leveled more than once. You'll hear about a people that have been committed to rebuilding a church more than once. Natural disasters, human disasters have all taken their toll on this space, this worshiping space, but not on the people and not on the ministry that is happening there. And so I'll let you hear from them the great stories about this church and how it has met these disasters and been rebuilt and continued on in this community, and how even today it continues to literally feed the need in Yazoo City and continues to shape lives. Hope you enjoy that.
Okay. Welcome to Trinity Church here in Yazoo City. And we've had 5 different church buildings here. During the Civil War, the church was used as a military hospital. And after the war, the church was in such a terrible condition, it had to be torn down. Then later in 1871, the second church building was constructed. That church building lasted until 1896, and then in 1896 they moved to the current location, and they built the brand new, much larger brick church building in the year 1904. A fire swept through the entire city of Yazoo City, destroying the new church. In 1905, the very next year, a brand new church was rebuilt on the very same site, and that church faced its own disasters. The next one being the great flood of the Mississippi Delta that occurred in 1927. The main street was underwater, and the water in the church came up to the windowsill. They were not able to worship here for a considerable period of time. Finally, they were able to come back into the church until the great tornado of 1933 that demolished the church at that time. So I want to tell you the story of the tornado now. It happened on a Saturday night in May of 1933. The church was all set up for church the next day. Altar book was on the altar, and a tornado came through Yazoo City and destroyed the nave, completely demolished it. The sanctuary was left untouched, and so because it was during the Great Depression, there was no money to rebuild, unlike the Great Fire of 1904 when they rebuilt in the very next year, 1905. There was no money, and so they just covered this up for many years, and then not until 1941 did they have the funds to build a new nave. And so what they did was they built a new nave onto the existing sanctuary that you see here. So when we gather to worship every Sunday here, we worship in the nave that was built in 1941, and we come to receive communion at the sanctuary that was built in 1905.
Manor House was organized in 1982 by Trinity Episcopal Church. Kay Mills, I'm the chairman of the Manor House Board of Directors. Our board consists of 7 churches that are the core churches that are members of the Manor House organization. and contribute a substantial amount each year. They are awarded a board seat so they can go back. They're our liaison to report back to the churches, like what's going on in Manor House, how many meals we're serving, what our needs are, what we need, or collecting, or do food drives. Just keep the church informed of what's going on there. We are open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock till 12:30, to serve a nutritious meal and a spiritual devotion to the needy and people of need in Yazoo City. And Joanne Harris, our manager, does a wonderful job. She can take a little bit of something and turn it into enough food to feed 80 to 100 people a day.
First of all, I'm Joanne Harris. I came here in 98 or 99, but Pastor Woodward and I came about the same time. Maybe a day or so different. But I've been here ever since. But I really enjoy cooking. Serving is my thing. But we served today, we went in close to 80 coming in. President, we had close to 80.
We just feel like we're a very, very necessary part of the Yazoo community. We're dependent on by just lots of needs in the community.
We are in the parlor of Trinity Church where we have meetings at different times, but in February of 2003, approximately half a dozen pastors met in this room and we formed the Yazoo City Ministerial Association. We believe that we can do more together than we can do individually. And we have been meeting ever since then, every month for the last 22 years. And our ministry is in different areas. First is worship. We come together and worship. We started worshiping together once a month, what I call prayer and praise services. We have at different times had different services. We've had community Easter services. We've had community Pentecost services, and the one that's been consistent throughout the years has been a community Thanksgiving service. The next area we have together is prayer. We come together and pray. Every year we organize a National Day of Prayer in front of the courthouse. But we come together and pray for different events, different situations. Tonight, one of our members' churches will be gathering to pray for one of our members who's sick, but we'll also be praying for the nation. The next area that we involved in is meeting the needs of the community. We have a benevolence fund that's administered by a wonderful pastor, Donnie Inslee, and we help pay for people's rent and electricity, medicine, other needs. A lot of financial needs in this community. We've also helped different organizations get established here. We helped the Boys and Girls Club get established. We were helpful in bringing in a ministry, My Brother's Keeper. That's a ministry for men who are trying to get off of addiction. We're also helping another similar ministry called Inspired Heights. We just helped them with an event that they held on New Year's Eve. We've also sponsored conferences on different subjects such as marriage and drug addiction and Christian discipleship. The other area that we've been involved is spiritual renewal. For a period of about 6 years before the pandemic, we sponsored this community-wide spiritual renewal for an entire week, and we brought in international speakers led by Bishop Edward Duku of South Africa. And then most recently, we've been involved in evangelism. We partnered with an international evangelist by the name of Luther Martin, and we had last year a major tent revival, and our own bishop, Dorothy, was there, and she spoke words of encouragement to all those that are gathered. So we believe that, in the words of our own baptismal liturgy that I just did this past Saturday, there's one body, one faith, one Lord. And I believe that applies not only to our local Episcopal Church, but I believe that applies to what I call the Church of Yazoo City. And so that's what we're trying to live into. And what unites us, in spite of whatever differences there may be, is we love the same Lord, and we're committed to serve the people in this community in His name. And so we've been very blessed. It's a very wonderful group of people. Andy Andrews has visited our meeting in the past, and he's coming to the one next month. So it's just a great group of people, and we're very blessed to be here in Yazoo City. So that's our story, and we're very happy to share it with you. You've heard some of our story, and it is a story of perseverance. It's a story of the faithfulness of God and the faithfulness and perseverance of the people of Trinity.
We heard from the folks at Trinity Church, Yazoo City, about the last of the disasters that had befallen that church, that tornado that went through and miraculously spared the sanctuary, even though the nave was gone, and how it is that a church was able to rebuild, even after all that time passed, was able to rebuild onto that sanctuary. Such a powerful story, and such an inspiring story about who we are, that sanctuary was able to be preserved all that time, to even be built onto when the new nave was constructed. So just such a wonderful story, and so much commitment to continuing ministry in Yazoo City.